I might just watch the worst EToH video ever. You can of course say that old GME shorts where he sexualizes real people are way worse, and I will not oppose, but in these cases most people understand that what he's doing is immoral and move on with their lives. Today I've watched a video about EToH, its current staff team and their decisions filled with manipulation tactics and lies, and most people see nothing wrong about them. And that's what's really worrying. This isn't just the case of this guy has an opinion and you can agree with it. This is the case of this guy has an opinion and he will make sure you agree with his opinion no matter how many lies it takes him. The video in question is from EToH about abrupt removal of several biomes towers in favor of making it easier for pro players to 200% the game. In my personal opinion, this is a bad change that could have been handled better. In fact, EToH devs have reverted the removals in the middle of me writing the script and adjusted the difficulties of all event towers, something they refused to do for so long. To me, this is the best outcome that could have occurred, but that doesn't mean the video becomes outdated, right? Because, spoiler alert, the video about biomes is not about biomes. Crazy, right? Let's finally talk about it.
Several towers from the April Fool's 2025 event were entirely removed from the game. Many of these towers have become lost media as a result, and the community is in an outrage. While these towers might have been regarded as joke towers, some of these have actually been popular among the community, such as Mini Obelisk and Mini Obelisk, and EToH.
For your information, both towers he mentioned were not removed. Of course, some of you can say, but he didn't explicitly mention that they were. But this is a very quick and clever topic switch up from talking about towers that were removed and maybe completely irrelevant ones just seconds after. It in fact did fool some uninformed people into thinking Mumu and Miku were gone. Why was this done? To set the more negative impression right off the bat, as these towers were in fact really popular among the community and their removal would cause way bigger outage, if it was true. Most people that are not active in the EToH community have found about towers removal from the EToH video, as seen by the views and impressions, which gives him a carte blanche to say whatever he wants about the stuff, and he gladly does exactly that.
The worst part, they leave these silently, without any notice.
For now, I don't have anything to say about the sentence, but it will be imported later on, remember it.
I believe they want to purge former developer creations, and these areas were mostly made by the former developer Blockerman. Glitches like this can be seen with many other updates done to purge Juke or Light's infiltration.
While I don't agree with the removal reasons, I cannot deny that they are right here. In case of PIM initial removal, it's because it was not fitting the canon progression for the game, and taking the sub-realm slot inside the canon main area is weird. And in case of biomes towers removal, you already fucking mentioned the reason. I don't know why you still bring this up. I'm not going to fully deny these claims since I have no confirmations regarding them, but maybe not ignoring actual reasons may help you believe otherwise. Oh, and by the way, this is the last mention of biomes topic in this video, not even a minute in. Lovely.
And as one final move, they would change the logo of the game to be a slop thumbnail, with an oversaturated picture of Tower Genesis Floor 10 with the lobby background removed.
Hey EToH, define slop. Sorry, I'll do it for you. Low quality content that is put out purely for the sake of putting it out. If anything, the old EToH icon was lower quality than the current one. You cannot just call slop anything you dislike. This is misusing the term, and that was once again done very intentionally. EToH will hide under the excuse of the words being his own opinion, but the descriptions he uses are not used to describe the opinions, but to describe the thing itself as it is. Obviously, in a bad faith. Instead of saying bad or ugly, which are used to describe the opinion, he says slop, which is on the contrary, used to describe the properties. While describing the new icon's insides, he doesn't forget to emphasize on the word oversaturated, which is meant to make the icon more bright and thus more clickable, and for some reason, it is bad for EToH. We'll discuss this in a bit.
Saying nothing more than a Korean slop tower thumbnail, this thumbnail is an eyesore to the community.
As funny as the statement is, it's once again used to put the narrative into the viewer's mouth by describing properties of something and masking it by the author's opinion. And this is actually a way better example because, as he says, it's an eyesore to the community, not something you can describe as your opinion.
After EToH moderators deleted image permissions,
I want you to look at the text that was not voiced over. All of this over a joke image protest, by the way. There is no such thing as a joke protest. If you see the images being spammed, the moderators will have to take action instead of letting the chaos ensue. Instead, it was inserted in the narrative to once again portray EToH staff team in a bad light for removing embed perms over a joke or decided criticism, or whatever works best for his narrative.
it's become obvious that we are in a dictatorship in this community. where having been placed below the staff as their rights are infringed upon in this community.
What kind of parasocial relationship you have developed if you think EToH staff team owes you everything or that you think your rights have been infringed? What rights are tricks? That they revamped lobby's entirety like? Yes, this was done for a smoother influx of newer players and not for you. Revamps of existing features that in your opinion became worse? None of the revamps were done without a reason. If EToH staff team sees a certain feature is underperforming and causes confusion for newer players, it's better to make sure it's understandable. The fact that you get used to it doesn't mean it's good overall. It is a human nature to be more emotional over bad things rather than something good for them, as they take this for granted. Just because EToH developers are doing something good not for you, it doesn't mean they're doing nothing for you. Case in point, Summit of Memories is a thing. The fact that people demonize the developers for also focusing on their newer audience is utterly disgusting for me, because these people clearly don't understand how game development works. Focusing on newer players more than existing audience is essential in game dev if they want their community to rise. Focusing mostly on the existing players will make the game stagnate like during EToH era, and the developers very obviously don't want that, because then what's the point of developing the game for basically nothing? Of course they would try to boost their player count by trying to change the features that could possibly perform better for newer players. Calling it corporate as it is a bad thing is just inhumane and complete incomprehension of how game development works, not just EToH, everywhere.
When EToH's V3 update, which included a game code rewrite, an entirely new menu and ring select UI, and a release of Purgatorio, we saw the absolute utter destruction of this game's identity being taken over by the new ownership of Internalis and GameTool. The in-game shops were all killed off. Many basic settings were deleted, such as click to flip. Item backpack system became much harder to use and significantly more buggy.
Huh? So the removal of physical shops and random keyword removals in additions is the game identity being taken over by Gamma and Ed? Do you understand what you're saying? I can't even comment anything. I'm trying to find the correlation, but I simply cannot. Trying to blame the bad things on the overall new game identity is just wrong. 2 out of 3 things you named are minor flaws, and by no means they show the game's new direction or approach to things. I can agree with the complaints in the vacuum, but not with the narrative you're trying to make.
The rinks had completely deleted the area descriptions, most of the information, and was replaced by a system not only worse looking, but nearly devoid of what it used to be.
And it was done for a reason? Oh wait, I stopped at the wrong time and he's actually explaining the reasons. Let's take a listen.
Staff have constantly pulled excuses of preventing memory leaks, and trying to be more beginner-friendly.
Memory leaks? Artrax, here's a good tip for you when you're making content like that. Provide any sort of proofs of what you're saying, because this just drunk shit into a fan for no reason other than, oh yeah, fulfilling the required narrative. Same goes for trying to be more beginner friendly, because in the negative context is of course meant to sound bad, but try asking yourself for a second. What exactly is bad about that? Do you expect the game only focus on adding content for pro players? I've already explained the consequences of that earlier in the video, and that is once again demonizing EToH staff team for stuff they are making for the better algorithm performance of the game and letting it actually live for longer.
Purgatorio has only led to less people getting far in the game.
By the way, it's just false and can be checked by the beige from yesterday percentage statistics. Even without them, you can check the performance by the amount of EToH content and player base before rewrite compared to after rewrite, or even better compared to before EToH era, where it was running at 500 CCU and below for 5 years. Obviously, no proofs to back up the worst performance after Purgatorio were provided. Good job.
And no proof backs up the issues of memory leaks, with the staff having removed the memory usage display shortly after.
You say as you didn't provide any proofs to back up your words about your previous 2 claims. Also yeah, I get the narrative that they removed the memory usage display to hide the fact that they have memory leaks or whatever, because they're bad. But what's the point of having it if you can just turn on performance stats of Roblox settings? It's available on any device unlike FPS, and also shows more accurate numbers than EToH try replicating, because as far as I'm aware, there's no direct support in Roblox to fresh performance stats.
In truth, they're slowly trying to kill off anything in this game associated with Juke, and would rather hurt the game than have someone they hate leave their legacy behind.
If this was the case, towers such as Cold Sword, Tower of Oblivion, or any other Jigsaw creations would be removed. Although, I'm sorry, what legacy content from Juke was removed? The Credits podium, because yeah, that definitely affected the game's legacy in unimaginable ways that not a single sane person can imagine. Steeple of Fading Memories, a random hidden medium of Forgotten Reach that never even gave a badge, and people joke about it not even existing. That's a great fucking legacy EToH dared to remove.
Let's not forget about their attempts to add loot crate boxes to the game.
This sentence alone should tell a lot about Artrax's desperate attempts to push the narrative about bad and damned EToH staff trying to ruin the game with the updates they have cancelled. And for what purpose? Your video was literally meant to be about biomes, but your schizophrenia and obsession with opposing anything EToH does has ruined you for nearly half a year with brainwashing many kids that are not able to see information manipulation and think that guy is right because the other side is not provided to them or usually is not as loud. Yet that video was loud as fuck. Congratulations, Artrax, you achieved what you wanted. You've told everyone the truth, except your own video and personality is filled with resentment and projection. What a shame.
Relentless butchering of this game's charm through countless actions, such as changing the game's description, and other constant efforts to ruin the game.
Can you please pinpoint the exact reasons why the new description is bad other than the older one was better? This is once again a desperate attempt to portray all EToH decisions in a bad light. Except in this one it's much more comical, it doesn't even affect the game itself. You could go with any other bad decision that ruined the game's charm, and he went with this?
The staff had an undeniable intent to make the game even worse than it is currently, and are simply being held back by the loose hold of their community.
Ask yourself, what could possibly be the motivation for staff team to make the game intentionally worse? You can't deny that lobby's quality becomes much better with every year, and if you think they're making the game worse just so they can make more money or something, it would affect lobby development too. They would become much more faster made, thus more uninteresting and lower quality. Saying that EToH staff wants to make the game worse is fucking ungrateful, and can hurt a lot to hear if you work for it. Artrax laughs to say that EToH tower builders don't deserve harassment because they're not responsible for the bugs and that they're real human beings too, but refuses to act the same towards the people that work on the EToH itself in one way or another. Refuses to accept any mistakes even if they apologize for them, refuses to admit they're human too, and not only that is hypocritical, that is also ungrateful and disgusting.
Why has EToH made their menu become more corporatized? Butchering the UI with more under corporate slop.
Hey Artrax, have you played any other front page game instead of EToH? You literally have zero excuses to call the EToH menu corpo slop and corporatized in any way. Because if you even bother to check any other games that you think EToH took inspiration from, you'll immediately see the difference. This is not just fact manipulation or opinion manipulation, this is a blatant lie driven by nostalgia bias. The new menu's design is nothing you see from other games and it's very unique all around. You can hate the design as much as you want based on your personal opinions, but I've already explained the strategy Artrax has.
This guy has an opinion, and he will make sure you agree with his opinion no matter how many lies it takes him.
The wording he uses will never be just an opinion. He gives you a pill and you're expected to swallow it.
Putting the shop in front of the game's menu instead of the settings menu like any other normal game would.
Okay, so I was trying to talk about the fact that you were always greeted with shop menu ever since EToH, but that turned out to be wrong. I so disagree that this is common of them to do considering ticket buyables are shown first and you have to scroll down to buy something for Robux. And in game design, shop has a better priority than settings, but take that as you will. Also, I just remembered and fact-checked that the shop button was always the first inside the menu layout, so all true I guess.
Adding more and more game passes instead of attempting to improve the game for the masses.
The schizophrenia is getting stronger with every sentence. We went from being negative about the changes being made for beginner players, and now he complains that the game is not becoming better for the masses. Artrax, how about you fucking decide what future you want for the game? What you're doing is getting entangled in your own manipulations by trying to hate the game and their developers for anything they're doing. No matter if it's for the better of the game, you just need the reason to hate the staff, no matter how absurd it is in reality. And about the new game passes, guys, EToH was caught needing money to continue the game's support. They are extremely greedy and corporate. Kill them. Once again, people seem to ignore the pretty obvious fact that all updates cost money, especially new areas and features. Not a single professional game will be driven by passion and only passion. If the game is making money, the workers will want to make sure they're getting their cuts too. Otherwise, nobody would want to work in such atmosphere. High quality lobbies require high amount of Robux, and new game passes can make sure their income is more stable or at least not declining. And by looking at the lobbies themselves, you can clearly see the lobbies are not being done just to get the sweet salary. High effort and many creative approaches is the clear sign of passion, and you can see by yourself, unless you have a narrative in the head being EToH is making slop, they are money greedy. There's also a second and more important reason for that, which is VM, but I'm not going to explain it. This is not the video topic. People such as Artrix love to blame EToH for seeking new ways of gaining money, as it's not the only reason why EToH still exists as it is. They're not getting funded by some companies above, they're getting Robux fees from people donating money and playing the game for the work they're doing. And the obvious move would be to preserve that money gain or to increase it to prevent the motivation loss.
Purgatory hasn't even done a good job for beginners, given more than half of them give up after Tower Genesis.
Something he doesn't realize, but I want to emphasize on, more than half of them give up after Tower of Genesis. If it implies during beating TOG, then it's statistically a lie. If it implies after beating TOG, then it makes your own point incorrect. Before they were right, many people felt confused during Select and left after. Some people skipped Toast and went to Calls or TTS, left after being defeated. Some people left after failing in Toast, only very small percentage of people have beaten Toast, and an even smaller percentage progressed beyond Ring 1. The Purgatory update made sure the better half of the game at least enters TOG and furthermore completes it. Not all people are expected to proceed further. We're talking about the hardest obby game on Roblox. The easiest towers take 8 minutes on average. For many people, obbying is not for them and they leave more than you could ever imagine, and that's okay. Blaming EToH for not being able to interest the better half of new players to play something for their TOG is dumb as fuck. The Roblox target audience are kids that play simulators or roleplays on mobile phones. The most popular Roblox games are exactly that, so it's pretty obvious that these kids take at minimum 90% of the Roblox player base. EToH is being advertised for obby players. It's no surprise that most of the newcomers will be that exact average Roblox player base in search of simulators and roleplays. It's not EToH's fault that they couldn't engage that type of players, because EToH is not made for these players. They have a different target audience, so most newcomers will not stay with this game. I feel like a toddler would understand this faster. It's not a rocket science, it's how basic marketing and development works. But that's okay.
Ask yourself, why does staff make so many of these changes in secret? Or on other occasions, not announce huge game-changing updates ahead of time, such as the 4 towers in Ring 1 that got revamped?
In this community, I feel like I'm about to say something very controversial, but at the same time, it's how healthy game development works and even beyond it. Not everything has to be done in favor of the community. An analogy I can give is, imagine yourself a father of a 6-year-old child. That child always wants to drink soda, and you let him. You let him eat fast food, not to take daily showers or care about his hygiene at all. Not take him to the hospital because he's too scared, so you generally let him do whatever he wants. Now a basic question, in how many months that child will die? While some cherry-picked people in the community can think rationally and form their opinions outside of anyone others, this cannot be applied to the greater part of the community who were taught to be nostalgia biased over years, no matter how hard their desires will hurt the game. And of course, the general voice formed by thousands of opinions will be bring back the old thing, not thinking rationally which one is better, just because they got used to the old thing too hard and consider it iconic or nostalgic. Releasing these controversial updates, such as you mentioned 4 tower realms without announcing beforehand, is a way of preventing the initial outrage it could have caused. Instead of threatening children to take that scary pill that will improve their well-being, but they start to get hysterical because the pill is still a pill, you force them to swallow it. They'll be bad for a moment at you, for being so strict to you, but as long as there's no long-term bad side effects, they'll stop complaining. And in some cases, even thank you for forcing you that one time. To me, Artrix is that one child who's really vindictive and will never forget that one time they betrayed you by not telling earlier what you're about to take. Refusing to understand that it was for the better, they'll ignore the better side effects, it will focus on that one forced swallowed pill. And that is not the behavior of an independent person. This is the behavior of a really whiny and manipulative individual who will let everyone know that they have done this crime to you and will make sure you think exactly the same without letting you think rationally, because if you dare opposing Artrix, you'll be labeled as EToH Nepo by him. Who do you think you are, Artrix, if not the same person you're blaming others for?
What happened to the transparency that EToH staff said they would have under the new ownership?
I'm also a person who would wish for EToH to have more transparency in some aspects, but saying that they don't have any transparency at all, or that EToH has the same or even less transparency than JToH is brutal. EToH has a Trello page for a reason where they tease the area's progress, upcoming projects or revamps, as in JToH all you would get is an area teaser once a month, and no clear roadmap of upcoming projects and areas. It is okay to ask for more, it's human nature, but it's not okay to blame the dev team that they don't want to show more. In the case mentioned with 4 December revamps, I've already explained my stance on them a bit before.
Even going to the point of Biotech Genesis and Obelisk of Hell not having their floor progress or release estimates shown anymore.
Dude, may I reveal you the dark and secret truth on why? Because the developers are uncertain on them. Ooh. With Citadel of Biotech Genesis, it was started all the way back in 2023, if not earlier, so the earlier floors were bound to be outdated compared to the floors made in 2025, when progress picked up. So to keep the floors quality consistent, the earlier floors have to be revamped as well. And they have to be connected better with the whole project for better quality. Let me remind you, in 2023, COBG was hosted and managed by Jukakala, and as you know, she had some problems managing things, so that means the whole Citadel has to be restructured and basically remade not to be a mess. But this is not just my guess, this was confirmed by its current host, Quadrink, on Trello itself. With Obelisk of Hell, it was also confirmed by Gamator that he wants for it to be as secretive as Obelisk of Void for the bigger interest and excitement around the project. See? This is not hard to research information at all. I just did that in like 5 minutes because I actually wanted to do that. Your goal is, once again, fulfilling the required narrative.
If staff can't deliver on basic information like this, what makes them better than Juke?
I'm fucking done. Developers under new ownership know what they're doing, know what direction they're going with, and all agree on it, have the motivation to release areas faster as the owners provide them that motivation, and most importantly, they don't get robbed of 70% that was the previous owner cut for doing what? I can't even think of anything. Her last major work that involved working instead of dreaming about working was the Christmas event Boss, released in 2020. If to you it doesn't show Artrix as a manipulative and deceitful person, then I don't really understand how you're still watching this video. His schizophrenia goes as far as comparing new EToH ownership actions to Juke and thinking they're the same or worse. This is equal to failing basic math equations, adding 2 plus 2, and because of what? They revamped objectively underperforming towers without notice? Great Artrix, keep going! I guess my comment that you shamefully deleted alongside banning me from your server wasn't as hateful as you thought it was, because you are an actual schizo Artrix, manipulative and deceitful one. Good job. Oh wait, that's it. The rest of the video is just fire all staff, hire people that hate EToH, and watch the game being led to its inevitable downfall. I'm really surprised how many people blindly believed all the blabbery in the hateful narrative, but at the same time, it's actually not that surprising. As I said in the beginning, for most people it was their first and only impression of the situation, and as they swallowed a rant about an objectively bad change, the narrator can start adding insult to injury by promoting more hateful narrative of EToH staff team being bad or being a literal dictatorship, missing the important context or straight up lying to your face. Oh yeah, the video was meant to be about biomes. My video was made to be a second opinion for people to consider, and it's up to the viewer, so up to you whether opinion you want to agree with. Even better if you make your own research and make your own opinion about it instead of listening to us. This can greatly improve your critical thinking, a skill that has been globally deteriorating for many years. I don't have anything else to say, so signing out. Lobbies are not being done just to get sweet slap.